Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talks a Lot Boys. I'm your host. My name is Tyler, and as always, I'm joined by the boys. We've got Brennan.
What's going on, folks?
And we've got Kyle.
Hello.
So, a brand new album has dropped that we have decided to take a look at. We were gonna do a St. Patrick's Day special, but then we were like, that's a lot of work. Let's just review this album that we've been looking forward to instead. People will probably like that anyway. And this is an album called Elysian by a man named Evan Marien. He's a musical wizard. He put out an album back in 2020 called Parallels, I think it was called. And that was one of the slappiest albums of 2020. So we had high hopes coming into this record. I would say it's a safe assumption to say that this album did not quite live up to the hype that was set by Parallels for any of us. I think that we all have some issues with this album. That being said, I do think that there are some really great tracks on this record, and I do think that Evan Marien and just the cavalcade of features on this album, wizards of music, man. I mean, so many talented people coming together to put this record together. It is a shame that the first four songs, there's just so much drumming. It's just, wow. That man, more talented than me, whoever was the drummer on that. Was it Dana Hawkins?
Dana Hawkins.
Yeah. Good on you for being like the fastest drummer alive, but boy, do I wish you might have toned that down a little bit in the first four tracks, personally. But yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about this record before we jump into the ranking. So, Brandon, I'm going to pass it over to you first, because I know we had a conversation earlier about our issue with the drumming. So I'd like to hear what you have to say about that.
So this record to me is like sonic core, like something you would hear like in the background, like while you're playing Sonic or something.
I literally have that. I have that shit in my notes, like word for word, Brendan. I'm so glad you had the same thought.
No.
Yes.
So, that's the start for the instrumentals. I mean, at some points it kind of varies from that. But for the most part, that's like, I just think of like getting gold coins, like fucking.
He gets
spinning
rings.
Around shit.
You ignorant swine.
Yeah. Ooh.
Dude, fuck Sonic. I don't give a fuck.
I don't like Sonic either, but you gotta respect the lore.
I love Sonic.
I hate Sonic more than the next guy, but he gets rings, my guy.
He gets rings. All right, so spinning around, getting rings, going really, really fast.
He's got to.
And then, like Tyler touched on it, the first four tracks and then a couple tracks afterwards. My man, Dana Hawkins, I don't mean any disrespect, but it seems like Evan Marien went to him and showed him the last scene in Whiplash and said, I need this on steroids in every single fucking song you play for me. Like, I need, like Miles Teller doesn't have shit on you. Like, you gotta amp this shit up to 20 at like every single minute, every track. Just a blitzkrieg of drumming. It is, like, look, I love crazy instrumental shit. Like, we have talked many a times on this channel about crazy instrumental records, songs, whatever. But that's just, I mean, this guy's invading Poland with his drums. Like, it's like just an onslaught of drums in the blitzkrieg.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
Holy fuck. I was not ready for that at all.
Oh man. So
That might be in the top 5 funniest things you've ever said in your entire life.
I just imagine like right at the Polish border, like 1st of September 1939, like the Germans are getting ready to cross, and they just set this dude up on a stage, and he just hams shit out, dude. Like he just kicks it all off, and the Polish just like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Holy
You might as well surrender now.
Oh, it hurts to breathe.
Oh my god.
Cool. I can't say I disagree though. It's pretty accurate.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't know so many notes could be played in such quick succession. Kyle, I'm gonna pass it over to you so I don't die. What did you think about this
I'm gonna stop
record?
dead in my tracks.
First of all, Brennan, that was one of the funniest things you've ever said ever.
It really was.
That was like the most out of left. Like when you were, I mean, peek behind the curtain, you called it like a blitzkrieg of drums or whatever earlier, and I was like, that's a really good way to describe it. You said, but what if I went beyond? What if I kept going? What if I compared it to history?
What if my man started a world war with his drums? That's pretty much what that sounds like.
Holy shit. Okay, so the album. James fucking died. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, wow. So the album, right? That's a lot of drums in there. No, I 100% agree with you guys. I think it's like way too much. I think like my biggest like, here comes the word, objective critique of this album I would give it is that in general, like in a wide scope, music should have a good balance of tension and release, and especially the first couple tracks on this album don't have a good balance of that, like almost at all. I will say, like from a technical aspect, this shit's some of the craziest stuff I've ever heard in my life. Like it's impressive as fuck. Like I think, because I've gone to like some jazz shows and shit where the drumming is like, it's hard to say on par because it really doesn't hit this level, but like it's a lot more, you know, in your face, consistent kind of crazy shit. But I mean, so like I think it's really impressive, and I have a lot of respect for it, and I think I like the first couple tracks a little bit more. But like just when you look at it like at its core, like from a writing standpoint, it's just like that level of tension to release just isn't there as much, especially in the first track, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just your muscles are exploding as you're just like, let the drums end. But no, I think this track is like super fucking like creative. It's super like experimental. Some of the cool shit that Evan Marien did on the back end with a lot of the electronics of the album are really cool. There's some like cool like crushed instrumental things going on in the second half of the album, and like some weird 8-bit like, you know, like electronic-y tunes that are just getting like spliced in there that are like really fucking like unique. Like I don't know if I've ever heard anything like some of this shit. And it's impressive as fuck. So I really, really love this album. I hold it in very high regard, with some large knocks at the same time, personally.
Yeah, I can agree with pretty much all of that. I guess we'll just start diving into it, throwing some of these things on the chopping block. We're gonna do what we always do here on the show. We're gonna rank every song on this album from worst to first. I'm gonna list off everything in the order they appear, and then we're going to start talking about how much we hate those first two songs specifically, because they will be the bottom. So first up is Caliber, followed by Ultima. Third is Hexalogic. Fourth is Forgive. Fifth is Elysian. Sixth is Ikigai, I think.
I think so.
Maybe like Icky Guy, something like that.
You're an icky guy.
I knew
You're
it.
an icky fucking guy.
Gross.
You give me the ick.
This is the worst episode we've ever done. Next is Don't Give Up.
I think you misspelled best.
Thank you. Followed by It's Gonna Be Alright. Followed by Funnels. Followed by the best named song on the album, Non-Brewed Condiment.
I love
and
that.
rounded out with Gums. So we got some
Always.
we got some real fun names at the end. Can we please put Caliber as the bottom song?
Yes, 100%.
I fucking hate it. I hate it. I think it's my least
Okay.
favorite song I've heard this year so far.
Okay, that's.
It negates my anxiety medication, Kyle. The amount of stress I felt by like the halfway point of that song, I was like, it's 8 a.m. I can't deal with the day, and it's 8 a.m.
Okay, listen, I'm in agreement. I think it should be the bottom. I want to put this into a perspective that I think kind of makes more sense for me. A lot of the tracks, especially in the first half of the album, kind of link into each other very like effortlessly. Like they're kind of like almost like new thoughts of this, like off of a similar idea kind of thing. You feel them really connect. The first track, like if I was going to see these guys live, like they were all together on a live stage, and the curtain opened or whatever the fuck, they walked down on stage, and Caliber is what started. That gets me hyped the fuck up. You know, like if it was like a live performance top to bottom, like this was a set list, I can start to see where this is like the idea they had, like this is like an experience that you're like sitting and watching. I get it there. But as far as like just like me tossing this on in the background, chilling at home, I'm just like, oh. So
no, man, even at a concert, I think that hearing that in a concert mix, like my eardrums would become like paste. I think I just wouldn't be able to handle the sheer amount of beats getting launched at my head.
I mean, to each their own. I think it could be cool in that setting because it's just like a fucking like they're just giving you everything they got. Like this is what you're in for, baby. Fucking strap in. Which I guess you could also say it is in an album experience. But that's like the only way I could swing this in like the thought process of like the writing for this album. I think maybe that's kind of the way they were thinking about it. But I agree. I mean, as far as like tracks on this album, this is the one that has like the least like overarching, you know, like main like melody other than like this fucking crazy drum electronic duo and these like just pulsing chords are like, oh, it's like over the top. It's like, oh wow, that's all this track is for like 3 minutes. All right.
Yeah. And then go ahead, Brennan.
I didn't touch any of this before the album came out because obviously this song looks like it's a single with 113,000. Is that true?
Maybe. If it was a single, I didn't hear it before the album. The only singles I listened to leading up to this were Don't Give Up and It's Gonna Be Alright.
Yeah. So, when I saw that, I think his name is Tigran Hamasyan is his name. When I saw he was in the track, I was pretty excited because he has this crazy fucking song with Tosin Abasi where Tigran, it's like he's playing piano and Tosin's like shredding like behind him. And it's so weird because it's like offbeat, like craziness, but like it actually like makes sense. Like it's weird how it all comes together. But man, yeah. It's like, I agree with Kyle that if I saw this live, it'd probably be a different experience. It'd probably be, like, this is what I would start off with. Like, get the crowd fucking pumped. Like, we're going balls to the wall. We're deep. And then have everything else, actually get back to normal. But, like, Dana Hawkins, man, his drive on Warsaw, it just continues, and it's just the blitzkrieg just doesn't stop. It's just it's like the movie, like everything everywhere all at once, and it's just it's like overwhelming, like just encompassing.
Yeah. I don't know what this person looks like, but I imagine their forearms must be the size of full buildings if they're able to just fucking blast on the drums that quickly. Like,
yeah, this guy is shredded. There's no this guy when he steps off the kit and takes his shirt off, it's just Greek god chiseled. Like there's no substitute.
I want Ultima to be directly above Caliber because I feel like it's pretty much just an extension of Caliber. Yeah. It's like Caliber ends and you're like, finally. And then Ultima starts up and you're like, how does this man still have more energy? And obviously, like, they probably recorded it in separate days. But, like, I can't handle taking that in one after the other. And I get that they kind of like flow into each other, but it's real easy to flow into another song when the bass of both songs is just and then like a loop of something underneath. Like, I don't know. I also was not a fan of Ultima.
To me, it's more stomachable, but
yeah,
I think it's better than Caliber.
I agree. I do think it's better than Caliber, but.
And one thing that I think kind of plagues both of these songs and kind of does in other parts of the album, like in the midst of it, it seems like the song has like no idea what it wants to do. Like,
yeah,
I'm a huge fan of like unpredictability, like take me somewhere, but like in order for you to do that, there has to be like some semblance of structure. Like there has to be like, you know, a starting point to go from, while both of these tracks, like in the middle of parts, it just seems like we're in the middle of some crazy chord progression. Some guy is just doing something with some instrument, and my man is just beating the life out of every single drum and cymbal that he owns. Like that is all that's happening right now.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, it feels like there's really just like no goal, like no structure to like any, like either of these songs. They're just kind of like, let's just play as many notes as we possibly can for like 10 straight minutes. And I feel nothing except for like anxiety when I take it in. So I'm like, there's no actual like end goal for this.
Kyle, I gotta hear what you think, man.
I like the description, like it's more stomachable, because I think this song, where like the first track is just like kind of like a show off, where this like kind of goes like from that same idea. It's like it kind of gains a structure a little bit more in the fact that you've got like verses into like a chorus that is recurring. I think that chorus is quite slappy in this fucking thing. Like I love the fucking like crazy rhythm of it, with like the cool synth part kind of dancing around it as well. It's just a really cool fucking written piece there. But it is like the verses of this track that is where like that what you said, Brennan, it kind of starts to lose the idea of where it wants to go at times. Like it just feels like they're going to go, and that's it. And then they kind of lock back in that chorus, and I go, okay, so like there's like that's where I start feeling that structure, and where it becomes like that more stomachable thing, like you were saying. The big things for me with this track specifically are the synth part. For me is just like otherworldly, and the fact that this like it sucks how like overwhelming this track is, because I think when you like strip some parts off of it, this track becomes incredible. Like there is some like insane shit going on throughout this entire track. I like the way that like there's like kind of this low pulsing synth part, like really low, almost like bassy like thing that's happening under the main theme when you get out of it into the verses. That is a really cool like contrast with those really weird high plucky electronic-y things. I like that in like the last half of the track. Dana goes into more like really big cymbal hits to like kind of add like a growth of the whole track. I think that was really fucking cool and really smart, because in general this album, because of how electronic-y it is, you start to lose some like key drumming things that you look for in like just normal like songs. So like having these huge like cymbal hits to like really start, you know, like getting you kind of on track for the ending is really cool, and just really smart. But in general, I just think like crazy synth shit, crazy drum shit, has a little more of an idea, but overall it's just like it's just a little too much. That whole tension versus release thing is just it's really present here to me. Like it's not balanced in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So are we cool with locking that in at number 10?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now for the next spot. I'm gonna go on a limb and just say that like Hexalogic, Forgive, and Elysian are like the next three. I don't know what order necessarily, but in my eyes, like everything after that is better, in my opinion. But if there's anything that you think belongs in the conversation, I am open to hearing it.
I'm gonna say I think Funnels needs to be in the conversation.
I could see that as well.
Because, like, it's like the polar opposite of like Caliber and Ultima. Like, while those were just a barrage of everything, like every ounce of musical ability has been chucked at us, Funnels is like the complete opposite. It's like, let me literally just make a kick drum and do some weird bassy kind of sound and stuff over it. And like, that is it. For, 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I mean, I don't know, like, I'd have to put this, like, from personally, this deserves to be lower on the list, because I think everything else, like, at least brings like creativity and, musical wit, while this just does not.
I do think that I agree. I think Funnels has like the most basic ass drum beat I've ever heard, and it is like the polar opposite of like the sheer ungodly amount of drums that we heard in the first few tracks. It's like the polar opposite of that. I do think the guitar licks are pretty funky, and I like them. I don't think that's enough to necessarily like, fully salvage the track. I also thought it was weird, like, not necessarily in a bad way, but the way that the song is like mixed, it kind of feels like you're listening to it in like another room.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But yeah, no, I can definitely get on board with this being lower, for sure. Do we want Funnels to be next?
Man, it's so tough. So I'm sitting here like, because you like already brought up Hexalogic, Forgive, and Elysian, and it's crazy because like I think Hexalogic and Forgive and Elysian and Funnels are like the opposite sides of the coin for me, and like where like Elysian and Funnels are like these like releases from this tension, or they like become like these very like single instrumental things, or like one or two instrumental things that like, just like him showing off in like an isolated environment versus them all showing off in a group environment is really what it comes down to for me in a lot of ways. It's tough because like part of me thinks that like the drumming in Forgive specifically kind of, it gets pretty close to the first two tracks, that I wonder if maybe that could go a little bit lower. But I would say Funnels should definitely be on the chopping block for me, more so than Elysian. I'd like to put that out there. I think Elysian should be above it.
Yeah.
Elysian is
with that. I can agree
fucking
with that.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's some cool shit that he does in Elysian, but we'll talk about that when we get to that. As far as Funnels goes, though, I think that song is just like a fucking masterclass of guitar. It's like, it kind of does that thing you were talking about earlier, Brendan, where like it kind of keeps you on your toes, a little unexpected in some of the runs that he does. You're like, oh, it's going to go this way. And then all of a sudden he kind of goes up and then up and then up. And you're like, whoa, this is kind of cool. And then like, it's got like that cool, like crushed beat underneath it as well. It's him having fun with the electroniciness of it all. It just feels very like exposed and just like true, skill on like display. But I do also agree that, like, because it's so less complicated than everything else, it's hard to put it up a ton higher than this.
I mean, I feel like I at least want to put it over Forgive.
I'm okay with that.
Because I feel like Forgive is the one left that has, like, the most egregious like drum problem.
Yeah.
Because like Hexalogic obviously still has that problem, but I think it's like better complemented by the music rather than actively combating it like it does in the other tracks we talked about.
I will say in Hexalogic, I'd say a majority of the song he holds like more like simpler beats. Like like just his like the beat that he's keeping isn't just like super high paced. Oh my god, my blisters on my fingers are just rubbed raw. Like
yeah,
like there's actually times where he like lets the song breathe and actually like instead of let me show you all I got, let me actually like write solid drumming for a track. And I think that's the strength of Hexalogic, because like if Ultima and Caliber had that, or like or at least toned down, or like at certain spots or whatever, I mean, that's basically what we're getting with Hexalogic.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you, Brennan. I was thinking the exact same thing. Like Hexalogic is like the balance of him showing off like crazy, but also keeping it to like a more simple style. Like it's a simple beat, but it's involved. Yeah. It's not like changing it up every single measure craziness. It's like I'm doing a simple beat, but I've expanded it to like be like more involved, and it's really smart. Like that's where the balance I'm looking for is. I find on top of it being groovy as fuck.
I think the structure is like a lot more sound in Hexalogic than the other songs.
100%.
Yeah, like I said before, I mean, before in our conversation before, I mean, Caliber and Ultima and Forgive, like it seems like he made a bet with himself, like how many drum hits can I fit in a single measure, but for the entire song, like a drum fill is like something to add like flair, something to add some taste, you know, some flavor to your beat. And he pulls it off really well in Hexalogic. There's times, you know, he kind of varies from it and it sounds really nice, but he keeps the beat, you know, he like sticks to the protocol. Yeah. And I think that's the strength of Hexalogic. It's not like he's not trying to like overpower the track.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a bowl of Lucky Charms. Like that's what you want. An even balance between the cereal bits and the marshmallows. And this man just took like 3 bags of like marshmallows and dumped them in, and that's all you're getting. And it's just like too much of a good thing, man. It throws off the balance, and then it's just not good. It's just a mouthful of mallows, and it's not what you want.
Like the balance and the force is just thrown off. You can't have it.
As far as for what's next, though, I would pitch for Forgive to be beneath Funnels, in my opinion.
I agree.
I can see that. Yeah.
I agree 100%.
To send off Forgive, I do want to say that I think the structuring of the synth, it being like way more present throughout the whole thing as like a main melody keeper, I think keeps this song structured in a way that Ultima and Caliber weren't. And it's why I think it's better than those two. Like there is like an exact, like here's where every measure ends. So it never feels like things getting a little too out of hand, because this synth is really more like standardized almost across the whole song. Like it works a lot better. So that's where I appreciate it, but it's still a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then I think Funnels should go right above Forgive because of the reasons we brought up before.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think it should probably be Elysian, just because as cool as it is like an interlude track. It's a lot shorter than the other things. It's really like somber and ethereal, and it is an amazing change of pace after like the onslaught that we received from the beginning of the album. But I don't think it's something that I would like go out of my way to listen to necessarily, because it's like an interlude track. It like serves its purpose. It does a really good job of it, but I think that it would be wrong to kind of put it above anything else that we have left.
Yeah, I think, I mean, to put my 2 cents in on Elysian, like when this song, like my first listen through, when this song came on, I was like pleasantly refreshed. Because it's like, okay, like the album is finally taking a step back. Okay, we hit you with a lot. We know it was a lot. So let's chill. Let's get a little, you know, bust out some tissues. You know, you're going to be all right. Okay, and then we move on to the rest of the record. Like I thought it was a perfect. It seems like a lot of these records that we review end up having like amazing interludes.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Like, and that, to Evan Marien's credit, like that is true musicianship. Like when you can make an interlude that is actually like impressive. That's when you know you're a good musician.
Absolutely.
But he just got in his own way in a few tracks. Yeah. That's all it was.
Yeah.
For me, for Elysian, it like the first cool thing about it, speaking of it being an interlude, it is like 2.5 minutes long. So it's like the length of a full track normally. Yep. There's just so many songs in this album that are 3, 4, 5 minutes long that it still achieves like that same kind of, you know, it's all ratioed out. It works still. But this track is fucking gorgeous, dude. The first time I heard it, like just like full like headset on, the way that like the surrounding, like kind of the way it like weaves back and forth between the headset and like The little like blurb I wrote in my notes was that it was like an introspective piece that has echoing guitars and an interweaving melody that blends in and out supernaturally. Like, I love the way that like the main like the leading part, it just seems to like dip in and out of this like echoey guitar part, like just so effortlessly. It's so pretty. And especially to have that on this album is like really impressive to show his like depth, like how much he can really achieve. It's very good, very good. I like it a lot. It's very nice. But I'm cool with it ending here. I think it's gotten higher than I was worried it might, just because this group's usual treatment of interludes. So I'm happy it got here.
Because normally, like, the interludes are like, you know, it's not really a real song, so it defaults to the bottom. This one just has bad songs, so like that goes beneath the good interlude by default.
By default, that's just how it works.
Technically impressive, yet hard to listen to songs.
Yes.
To their credit, no normal human could ever attempt to play these songs.
Yeah.
No normal human could also enjoy listening to them probably either.
Yeah.
That was harsh. I apologize.
That was really harsh.
We're gonna move on.
Apparently people love them too. The most streamed songs on the album. Just shitting on them.
That is weird.
I like him, Evan. I like him a lot. There's a little much.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I wish I could drum like that. But if I could, I wouldn't listen to myself play. We're going to move on. We got to figure out what's going to go next. Are we going to give it to Hexalogic as the next spot, or do we want that to be further up?
Oh, it gets really hard now. I don't know.
Do we want to do tabling, and then we'll have 3 top and 3 not top because we have 6 left?
I don't know what I table.
Oh, I know immediately what I would table.
I'm okay with tabling.
Ikigai is tabled
Okay.
immediately.
Okay. We're okay. Everything's fine now.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
I just got a lot harder.
Same.
I'm not even sure what I would table. I'm really that was my fucking go-to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then
Actually, wait. Where's the one where they sing?
Oh, that's it's
Don't
gonna be
Give
all
Up.
right, which I also think is table worthy.
Oh, is it really? Oh, yeah, it is. My bad. I thought it was Don't Give Up. Whoops.
Nope.
Oh man, do I want? Is that what you would table, Kyle, or no?
What? It's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay.
I hold it higher, but I don't know if I'd table it.
I'd table it.
It's in the realm. It is in that realm.
I don't know, because I'm torn between it and Don't Give Up.
I think those are the 3 best songs on the album. Is Don't Give Up, It's Gonna Be All Right, and Ikigai. Those are like my top 3 personally.
Those are
Same. Fuck. Because I remember like listening to this and like whenever the dude sings, I'm like, this is exactly what the album needed. Just one song where the instrumental is just kind of chill for a second, give the spotlight to someone else. You know what? Fuck it, I'll do it. It's gonna be all right.
Fuck yeah. Kyle. The last table is yours. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, don't you dare say some fucking dumb shit. They'll be on your ass.
There's one we haven't talked about that I really like.
Okay.
I really like. And I don't know if there's one knock I have against it, and that might give away what it is. So I will go with Don't Give Up. I'll go with Don't Give Up to table. Because I think that's very deserving.
Tight. We have a non-controversial top 3. I feel like this hasn't happened for probably a while. Yeah. I also don't remember what our top 3s were in anything recently, but I know there's usually a lot of discourse. I usually table something and everyone's like, Are you sure you don't want to go commit
unalive?
Nah, and then I have to defend myself.
No, let's go commit unalive. Take me saying unalive and put it over that word because you can't say the word.
Commit F4. Yeah.
Yep. Commit Alt F4.
Yeah.
Delete System 32. Like, just time to brick myself.
While we were I was gonna say that while we were talking about tabling, it really made me think Hexalogic should be next. It really made me feel as though that should be the case. I think from like the point we're at now onward is like all like good stuff. Hexalogic still kind of falls in the realm of a little overwhelming, so I do think that should be next. And then the next two after that, I'm excited to talk about though.
I can agree. I think that the next two, in no particular necessary order, should be Hexalogic and Gums. Because while Gums is fresh as fuck.
Shit. I thought I was going to have to fight for my life.
No. I love me some Gums. Don't get me wrong. Gums is fucking nasty. Gums like gets in there, you know? Like you listen to it and like there's the punchy trappy like lo-fi it, like it gets up under you. Like it does something to you, you know? Yeah. Like it's like a shovel to the soul. It just fucking digs into you. But I don't think it's better than any of the other ones. From like a technical standpoint, from like a I don't know. I think that like I only have the one note for that song, and it's great. I also think it's an odd choice for an album ender, personally. So I kind of that's like a not really real reason to like knock it, but I do feel it didn't really feel like an album ender. I still want to put it over Hexalogic. I still think Hexalogic should be next because it fed into the way too much drum thing, but I think Gums just doesn't as good as Gums is, it does not bring as much to the table as the other four songs.
Oh, you see, Gums is the track that my soul wanted, you know, because I truly, from the bottom of my heart, this might be one of the tastiest things I've ever listened to.
It's good. It's a good ass song.
The first time this track came, because like, you know, this album, in one word, overwhelming. This track hits you at the very end though. Oh, I fucking went, dude. Like, I think that's why, to kind of combat your weird pick for an album ender, I think generally yes, you know, like when you compare it to other things, other albums, but the fact that this album has hit you with so much wild, overwhelming, weird, bit crushed, weird shit up to this point, to have this just be a groovy like dissension out of madness, I love it. This was like a creative choice that wasn't normal, and I think worked so fucking well for him. It was kind of a risk, and for me it works. It is. Oh fuck, man! It like you said, it just shovels my soul with soul food, and I am brought to a groovy realm. Goddamn! But it does fade out, and that's unfortunate. That's
how do you even like or respect yourself now after you've just advocated for a fade out song?
I know,
that's like
I know, and that's
brand.
why I said when I said there's one knock against it, I was like, that probably gives it away because it's fade out, and I hate fade out. I want it to be over Hexalogic 100% because I don't, other than the fade out thing, I don't really think this track does anything wrong. Whereas Hexalogic, I still falls into the trap, like you said. So yeah. I'm in the same camp.
Brennan, what do you think about Gums? You seemed happy that I was bringing it up.
It is okay.
Oh.
Okay.
It's not bad. I mean, I like it because it is like, I don't know, it is a pretty decent beat, and yeah, some cool stuff's happening. But I mean, I don't mind it being over Hexalogic, but I think the buck stops there because I think non-brewed condiment and obviously the rest of it's, you know, tables. So
yeah, and I agree with Brennan on that front because I think Gums gets after it. But, like, it does not bring nearly as much to the table as any of the other four, like at all. So I think we're just gonna lock those in there.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it. Different strokes for different folks. And speaking of strokes, damn, non-brewed condiment makes me confused, but in the best way. I really fuck with non-brewed condiment. Like I literally, like, in my notes, it's just so many, like, confused question marks, like, with so many of my notes, because I'm just like, is this, like, if I died and went into a video game, why is everything mixed the way that it is? I love it. Wait, it's, like, there's, like, doing full stop shit in there, and then there's, like, this cool layering, and it's all, like, based around this, like, really cool, like, crush shit. I was like, oh my god. I love it so much. This track is so cool.
Yeah, like there's definitely a lot to unpack with it, for sure. And it's like, I wouldn't even say it's a roller coaster. It's just like an experience. It's like, I could describe a lot of the songs we've talked about so far as Fever Dream-esque. I think this could fall in the same category, but in like a good way. Because there's a lot happening. It's hard to like process all of it on your first listen, because it really does just go to a lot of places. I don't know if I've ever written in the same song notes about how it sounds like chiptune, but also sounds funky, but also sounds trappy, but also sounds synthy, like, but also sounds like super fresh. It's just, there's a lot going on with it. It manages to like encapsulate so many different vibes, but it manages to like tie them all together into like a cohesive experience. So I respect it a lot.
Same. 100% the same. Brennan, what do you think about this one? I'm curious.
I don't know why, but I keep getting the visualization of like, I can't remember what game or what it's from, but there's like it's like in a game where like someone has an attack or like a spell or something, and like as soon as someone gets hit by it, they just instantly turn fucking dumb. Like, like it's just question marks and like I don't know how to describe it.
Dude, okay.
But like you said, like you said with the question marks, it just hit the nail on the head, because it's just like, this song is so like everywhere, like, but like it's good where it is, like when it takes you certain places, and you're just like every turn I'm stupefied, but like I'm cool with it. So I think it's a good track. I think it should solidly land like number 4.
Okay.
I don't know where I was going with my analogy earlier, but like
no. Let me pick up your analogy, because I have the exact thought. All right.
Yeah.
It's just musicified Earthbound. It is what Earthbound tried to do, and it's like weird trippy shit. I don't know if you know what Earthbound is. You probably know visually what I'm talking about. It is just Earthbound. It sounds like the weird, like, you know, like chiptune shit is very reminiscent of it, but like with the way that shit just fucking like happens, and it's like confusion with the question marks. It even, I thought you were gonna go there too, because you're like attack and like spell, and it like it's like it has that, and I was like, oh shit, wait, is he gonna do what I'm about to say too? Yeah, no, it really gives me Earthbound vibes, and that's like one of my favorite games ever. So I'm in.
I've never played Earthbound, but upon your description of like tying it to it, it really tracks, honestly.
Yeah.
Even with like the rainbow ass like art for like the cover of the album and everything, I'm like, this could just be in an Earthbound game.
It sure could.
Maybe I saw someone playing that or something, but I just remember seeing like attacks and stuff where like as soon as the guy gets hit by it, it's just like question marks, and the guy's just like dumb for a sec, and then you could like do whatever you want. But like, yeah, I mean, I like it. It's the it kind of has the chaotic effect, but like not being nearly as chaotic as like the beginning of the album. But I mean, this is a good track. A lot of different stuff getting thrown at you. You know, as Tyler said, it's definitely an experience. So,
fuck yeah. Well, we're
Fuck
on to
yeah.
the top 3 now. The tables. Ordering these is going to be pretty tough. Except I think we all know what number 1 is. I think number 1 is like a very clear cut.
Yeah. I agree.
Because one of these songs has a fucking pan flute. One of these songs also has a saxophone. Those two things separately are like number 1 song material. You put them together, you destroy galaxies with the funky fresh goodness. Like, I don't have words for it. It's just if you hear
yes,
I'm jamming along. I hear pan flute. I go and then I hear saxophone, and then my jaw unhinges and I come all over my computer screen, and then I have to spend the next 30 minutes cleaning up my cum and reattaching my jaw.
He's got TMJ from pan flute. All right.
I was thinking with TMI, but that's fine. Anyway, I agree. I would like to do a mini tabling where we just all agree that we're just gonna save that for later.
Yes.
Because this battle is like legitimately tough for number 2, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I think both these tracks are so good in different ways. Brennan, you tabled It's Gonna Be Alright, right?
Yeah.
Sell me on it, dog. Give it to me.
I think the vocal performance in it, like, yeah, it kind of becomes like the forefront of the song after a bit, but like, I feel like it complements like the musical abilities of like the other artist very well. Like, you kind of hear them all like doing their own thing, like not as extreme as in other tracks. Like, they're not totally, throwing the kitchen sink at you per se, but like everything they do is like very complimentary and still like with some pretty like vicious like rips and stuff in there. Like while all the stuff's going on, or like whenever he stops singing, they kind of take over for a minute. It's like, they don't like their space, the space that they have to operate. Like in all these other tracks, like where there's no vocals, is unlimited. So they take every ounce of ground that they can with some tracks. But like this one, like with the vocal performance coming in, like their space to operate, independently is limited, and like they try to take the most of it. And instead of just barrage of music for 3 minutes, it's like very complimentary and very, very much like a piece of art compared to like, I'm throwing everything I fucking have at you.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. 100%.
Same.
I also just think that like the vocals themselves, they sound like very like unique compared to like a lot of the stuff that at least I typically listen to. It's just like very, I don't even really know how to describe it, but like if you hear it, it just kind of like it hits this it hits this vibe that I don't really get from a lot of things, but I really, really fuck with it. And like the way he kind of like dances around with like, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but like the way he delivers like the lines of the verses, it's like kind of like punchy. It's like a little like staccato, I think is the word I'm looking for. And like some of the things, it's just really fun. It's just like a really fun, really vibey song. It just makes me feel really good. Especially, I think that feeling is heightened and elevated after listening to like drums on drums on drums on drums for a while, and then getting hit with just like some very smooth ass vocals. And I'm like, ooh, I'm on a little vacation right now. This is a good time. This is a fun time. I'm digging it. Like, I don't know. I really fuck with this song. I really vibe with it. I don't have a lot of actual in-depth notes. I just kind of just kept talking about how I like it over and over again because it sounds good. So,
yeah.
Kyle, what do you think about this one?
I don't know, man. I mean, like, you guys kind of hit it all right on the head. Like, it's just super fucking groovy. The note I took about the vocals, because I agree, they're like very like unique in the delivery of them. I don't know why, but it reminds me of that guy that does the history of the world or whatever. That, it really reminds me of that.
The history of the whole world, I guess.
Yeah.
You can kind of hear that, yeah.
Yeah, that's say that, yeah.
But it's kind of similar in the delivery of that, where it's very like, you know, almost like nonchalant is the word I think of. Like, it's just like he's kind of just he's telling you how it is, and it's groovy as fuck when he does it. And I'm like, oh shit, I like it.
It's like, oh, and then the Mongolians found spices. We have spices. Like,
yeah, exactly. You get it?
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah.
In general, I just think this track is just like, it's another one of those tracks where it's like super digestible because like it's got a lot going on, but it's never like too complicated. It's got like the right amount of layering. It's got like, and like everything that's happening is doing some like kind of crazy shit, but like all balanced out in the right way. It really works for me. I specifically, the thing that I really like is like the way that like chorus to verse connect in this track. There are some crazy fucking bass licks and like synth runs that like connect like verses in this track that I'm just like, it's just fucking like knocked the wind out of me. They were so fucking tasty. I loved it. And then I think the very ending little guitar send off at the very end is just so fucking groovy. Like, I mean, to just top it all off, it's just a fun track. That's like my main note I took at the end. I was like, it's just a fun one, man. It's a super fun track. Yeah, I really, really like it.
I feel like I'm getting ice cream in the 90s.
Yeah, hand dolphining it up, you know? Just go nuts.
I feel like I'm eating a rainbow.
Lucky Charms, back at it again.
Kyle, do you want to talk about "Don't Give Up" since you tabled that one?
Sure. I mean, it was kind of like a group effort.
I feel like we kind of talked you into tabling it more
but I'm glad
than
you
anything.
did.
But
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did because I think it deserves it. I think this track is a very similar fun vibe to "It's Gonna Be Alright," but has like a very different like core where it's got like this kind of like plucky like low guitar that's going this whole time that is just like, it starts out there, right? Like it starts like the like, and it's just like, fucking Evan was like, all right, start with it. And do whatever the fuck you want. We're gonna keep going with the main melody. And he's just under there like, and it's like fucking going nuts underneath it. But it's so like the bottom thing in the mix that you just get like hints of it as you go. It's like drinking a LaCroix. I got a guava LaCroix, and it like the guava's there, but it's in the distance, you know? I'm drinking, I'm like, ooh, that's good. Oh, I get that refreshing guava in the background. Listen, I like LaCroix. I know you probably don't like LaCroix. Okay?
LaCroix is like drinking the idea of the flavor that it's on the can.
Yeah, it's like, it's just really distant, you know? It still tastes good, but it's like a little far away. And like, I just get little hints of that little guitar thing. Oh, excuse me. Right off the bat.
Did someone online say it's like drinking static and someone just screams the name of a fruit in another room?
Yeah,
that's what it tastes like.
My favorite is like, it's sparkling.
Like, in a not bad way, that's kind of the vibe I get from like the structure of this song, because there's a very forward, like, just that main like groove that you're talking about. It's like very forward. But there's like a very like subtle building to it the whole time. Like when you get to the end of the song, there is more there than what you started with. But
100%.
You don't know how you got there. Like you don't know when the stuff started coming in. It's so subtle that it almost sneaks up on you by the end of the song, and you're like, wow, this isn't just a LaCroix. It's an actual flavor. And like, it's really cool how they managed to do that.
It is. I 100% agree. I think like the track is like one of the best songs in Building overall, other than possibly Ikigai. And something that I want to really touch on with this track as well is that the drums in this track are perfect. They are perfect. They nailed it. They are really impressive. They add like this awesome spice that's really impressive, but it's never too much. Like they even let it like shine there in the little drum building part around like 2:10ish before they go into the last chorus. It like gets a moment to like they just like release, and the fucking Dana goes just fucking little nuts there for a sec, and then it all comes back together with like these kind of big cymbal hits that kind of keep you all locked in as well, with also some cool little shit. The guitar's still going a little over here. The bass line has just been fucking groovy this whole goddamn time, and it's just so cool. I like the little vocal back and forth thing too. It's like just kind of just fucking dancing around in my headset. I love it. This track's just, I think, because of how like well structured and subtle it is with the way that it builds, I give it the edge over It's Gonna Be Alright to me, personally. Okay.
Well, Brennan,
I think they're incredibly close though.
Yeah. Well, Brennan, I want to hear what you think about this track before we get into placing.
I like it. That's pretty good. I mean,
Awesome.
I agree. I agree with pretty much everything Kyle said. And I think that's like the case with both of these tracks with Dana Hawkins, like Ikigai and Don't Give Up. Like how he plays them, where he adds in like his little bits of spice, like actual like epic drum fills and stuff. But like that's not like the focal point of the track, and I love how like he's just kind of like going along with it instead of like trying to be like the driving force of it. I mean, it is kind of like the same overall groove kind of over and over again sometimes, but like whenever they do like break away from that and it is just kind of like solo hour for a bit, like I think that's definitely like refreshing change of pace. But I mean, I think it's a very strong track, and I totally agree with the top 3, and I was almost going to table it if Kyle wasn't, but I don't know. Like to me, I think It's Gonna Be Alright's better because it offers a little bit more, but Don't Give Up still very solid. I think it's definitely top 3 worthy.
I guess that means I'm a tiebreaker then.
Yeah.
Which I hate.
Yeah. Have fun.
But I am gonna say I'm gonna give second place to It's Gonna Be Alright. I don't know if it's necessarily a better track, but I personally like it more. So if I'm in a position of power where I can make this decision, I'm gonna be subjective as hell. I do not give a shit. I think they're both incredible tracks. I think either one could place in either of these positions. I think that they are both deserving of being the number 2 spot. But today, I am given the power of God, and I will use it to put It's Gonna Be Alright at number 2.
Speak your truth, King.
Yes. But Icky Guy is number 1.
Yeah, Young King.
That guy be icky, but he make me cream so good. I thought you'd stop. Okay, I thought you'd stop clapping when I made that sentence.
No, I just tried to act like it didn't happen. It's fine though.
No, that was the better way to do it. Yeah, it's we already kind of touched on it, but like, the drums are not overly crazy.
Yeah.
Just good, solid, tight ass drumming. Fantastic. It's groovy as fuck. The instrumental blend is just overall like incredible. They just keep introducing new shit as the song progresses. You just keep getting new little things peppered in, and the drums only pop off when it's like absolutely necessary. It's like adding to it, not like overwhelming and combating the rest of the song. Fucking pan flute.
Yeah.
Fucking saxophone. In the same song, like one after the other. If I died tomorrow, it'd be okay because I experienced that. It's worth it. This could top any album in general. If you put pan flute and saxophone in a song, and you don't do that for the other songs on the album, it will win by default. I don't even care if the rest of the song is just a dude screaming in a field at nothing. If there's a pan flute and a saxophone in it, it's good. Also the crescendo part at like 2 minutes in is really cool. And there's like an organ or some shit. That's pretty tight. But mainly pan flute and saxophone. I digress. What do you guys think?
Brandon, how did you like this song?
I think it is the best song on one of the albums of all time.
Well said.
I'm gonna I'm gonna make a statement. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a fucking statement, and this is subjective. It's my favorite song that's come out this year.
It's up there for me. I don't know if I could go quite that hard.
Listen,
but it's up there. It's a very good song.
It does everything I personally love in song, like the shit that like kind of like that tickles my bones. You know, this song does all of it. And the first time I heard this track, especially because the thing that I think we haven't really talked about yet about this track is that coming off of Elysian, it's like a really cool like journey out of it and up, especially like the very beginning of the track. Kind of like how like Caliber is like into Ultima, Elysian kind of feels like it goes into Ikigai, and the two of them together is a fucking experience. I fucking love it. But specifically, man, Ikigai, I think it just balances so fucking perfectly. Like that thing that I said that they do wrong the first like 2 tracks of this album, the song is like one of the best examples of it. It's got like the drums are doing like a really good job at like being involved, and then it lets it like go crazy there and that like kind of broken down bit around 2 minutes, like you said. Like it really just fucking like, especially when like there's like those full stops with the organ and like the drums just get to go fucking ham. The layering up until that point and out of that is just fucking incredible with the synth, especially interweaving around the fucking pan flute and the sax. It's like, it already had been used extremely well, but now you've introduced pan flute and sax to give it something else to like blend with and do cool shit around, and it has created some really awesome little runs into phrases, like how I mentioned before in the other song. It did really well. This track has some of like the weirdest, unexpected runs into like phrases ever. It's so cool. My only other big note about it, though, I to not tangent about it forever, is the ending when the like the pan flute and the sax are happening at the same time, but like kind of doing their own things near the end, the big drive to the end. I like that it's kind of split in like the headphones. I mentioned it a couple times. I love the mixing of this album in general. It's like one on either side of you, and then they kind of come back together at the very end to like drive you to the very end. It's really fucking cool, really smart. I can tell that boy had a good time in the booth, like mixing this whole album. He's sitting there like, what if I tried this? And he's just like going nuts with it. I can tell it. You feel that like passion and creativity. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I fucking love this track.
Now that you mentioned that it's like your favorite song that's come out this year, I went back and I looked through every single song that's come out this year that's been on my radar.
Okay.
And I have to say, you might be right. It might be the best song that's come out this year. Because you might be thinking, the Treasures album. There's a lot of saxophone on that. You would be right, but there was no pan flute, so get fucked.
Nice.
And that was really the only real competition. I mean, the new Dwelling song is like tasty as fuck, but it doesn't have saxophone or pan flute. So like,
correct. But that's cool rhythms.
Sorry.
It has really cool time signatures though.
And like,
So
New Veil of Maya, it's like it's good, but I mean it's again, no pan flute, no saxophone, no competition.
Like anti pan flute, honestly, at that point.
If
with
the
that
Veil of Maya album has pan flute, I will nominate it Album of the Year by default.
Awesome. I'm in. I'm in.
It won't happen.
I'm on board.
I was gonna promise something like way crazier, like I'll donate $10,000 to something, but then I'm like, I don't have $10,000. I physically can't do that, and I don't trust them to not put pan flute in a Veil of Maya song.
Fair. I thought you were gonna be like, I'll get a tattoo or some shit. Like I thought you were gonna go like.
Oh, I also don't have the money to get a tattoo, so I can't promise that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. We ranked the album. It's over. It's done. I'm gonna recap, and then we're gonna get on going. So number 11 is Caliber. Number 10 is Ultima. Number 9 is Forgive. Number 8 is Funnels. Number 7 is Elysian. Number 6 is Hexalogic. Number 5 is Gums. Number 4 is Non-Brewed Condiment. Number 3 is Don't Give Up. Number 2, It's Gonna Be Alright. And number 1, Ikigai. Congratulations, boys. We've ranked another album. Put it in the books. We hope you all enjoyed this chaotic episode of Talks a Lot, boys. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this album, how you would rank it, and which metaphor was your favorite on this episode full of just incredible metaphors.
Was it Brennan once, twice, or all the other times? Because
Yes,
Brennan fucking
they were all
this
Brennan.
episode.
But which one was your favorite?
I will say I had you guys rolling for like a minute and a half.
Yes,
really
I lost years of my life, I think, from how hard I was laughing at that.
My vote goes to Poland,
geez.
I think,
Hell
personally.
Yeah. Old man busting out the Blitzkrieg. September 1st, 1939. It's game on.
Holy shit. I think that quote alone is deserving of a subscription. So if you're not subscribed yet and you've experienced this episode, then subscribe.
Please.
Because if you don't, then what will you subscribe for? If you're not going to subscribe for that, we will never make content that's good enough for you if that didn't do it for you. So yeah, be cool. Subscribe. Don't be a bitch. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Hit the like
Click a thumb. The up one, not the down one. Por favor. I mean, you can click the down one. It doesn't show it to people, so like it really doesn't do anything. It makes me sad, but you know, fuck me. I feel like I'm supposed to talk about something else. Go to our socials. We don't really use them, but go to them anyway, because they exist, and we'd like more followers. That'd be pretty cool. If you have any albums you recommend that you'd like us to review, you feel free to throw those out there. We probably won't do them, but you never know. And I think that's it. I think we're good. Wiggles 2 coming up. Brace yourselves. We've been the Talk Slap Boys. We'll talk a whole lot more next time. See you later.